Remember a story that I did very late in the show? Remember the rip-off scheme with Zelle and Cash App?
Yeah.
The Miss New York, right?
Yeah, well, it was
pageant girl.
No, you're right. Ex-Miss New York.
Yes.
But then remember I have the story about the cell phone employee down in Miami that was also duped?
Sure.
And I said these items are important enough to repeat because I did this late in the show yesterday and I wanted to do it for the earlier crowd here at 7:57. But you got to be careful, folks. Protect your phone like it's a bar of gold.
Or an extension of your body.
Like it's an appendage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not fair because I let people touch my appendages.
Like it's an organ or something. All right. Now, see, here's the deal. You got to be careful. We're hearing about these rackets going on all over the country where people will solicit, let's say, for a charity. And, hey, if you don't have cash, you can do a Cash App. Hey, give me your phone, and I'll go ahead and I'll type the information in. And we had a story yesterday, and I wanted to repeat this, that a former ex-beauty queen, a Miss New York, she fell victim to a couple of kids in Manhattan trying to raise money for their underprivileged kids basketball team over in the South Bronx. And her name, Brianna Siaka, and she did a whole little social media video post over the weekend. And I was up in New York over the weekend. That's where I first saw the story. I first heard about it in New York. I saw it online, New York local media. And then she shot this video, and she claimed that she was sitting in Madison Square Park. By the way, that's where the first Shake Shack was, in Madison Square Park.
Wow.
A little trivia point there.
Hamburger history on the MJ Morning Show.
She was sitting in the park listening to a podcast on her earbuds, and these two kids came up to her. Two teenage boys come up, and they say, hey, yeah, we play basketball, and the team is, kind of underfunded. We don't have money for uniforms. We're just trying to, raise some money. And she says, I don't have any cash. And then they say, hey, we can do Zelle, or we can do, what we had, Zelle. What was the other one they said?
Venmo?
Yeah, Venmo. Yeah, we can do the Cash Apps. And she said, yeah, I've got Zelle. And they even said, yeah, if you have Zelle, that's easier. So the kid then said, hey, you know what? I'll put in the account for you so you don't have to do it. So she hands the teenage boy her phone. The kid's, Froy, you didn't hear the story yesterday. The kid then sends $2,000 to his account.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a whole big racket. There's no South Bronx underprivileged boys basketball team that needs uniforms. This is a racket. It's a con game. It's a confidence game. Conning people into, wanting to donate money to your cause. You give them some sad sack story. Oh, hey, if you give me your phone, I'll even put in the information. And they took her for $2,000, ripped her off.
That's like last time I went to the grocery store, the scam was going on in front of it. Like,
hold on one sec.
Of anyone who lives here.
Yeah, listen.
Be careful. Yesterday, I was sitting in Madison Square Park in nature, minding my business, listening to a podcast.
So that's the story. So she's just telling the story that I just told. The audio's a little low, but that's her story. So be careful, folks. Guard your phones. Do not hand your phone to somebody. Another racket is, hey, I lost my phone. Can I text my wife, or I need to text my girlfriend? My phone got stolen. That's another racket, is getting people to hand their phone over either for a phone call or a quick text. And there's a story of a cell phone store employee down in Miami that got taken.
And Froggy was just starting to tell a story about something that happened at a grocery store, and I think the same thing happened to me.
Yeah,
at a
there's like
grocery
these
store.
little girls dressed in some brown outfit. And I'm like, what is this scam? And they're like, I think it was cookies or something.
Did they have a whole bunch of cookies on a table?
I'm like, what are those boxes empty? You scamming? Get a new color. The brown doesn't work for you. And
then they jumped you.
Yeah, and then I
And-
seen them all over the place. Doors.
The brown uniforms are brownies. Usually the Girl Scouts have the green uniforms.
This shows how much my joke works.
Those Froggy, those girls are legit. They're selling Girl Scout cookies.
He has
Really?
boys. He has boys. He doesn't have girls.
I don't know. Those cookies look kind of bunk.
So again, there was a cell phone employee, and this is important. You have a cell phone store employee got nailed for $1,100, and the cell phone employee says that woman walks into the cell phone store. This is down in North Miami, and this was at a Talk for Less wireless store, and this dude was conned out of $1,100. Woman walks in and says, "Hey, can I send a text, please?" Yeah, and she had a whole story that she needed to send a text, and her phone was lost, or her phone was dead, whatever the story was. And the cell phone store employee hands this woman his cell phone, and then she gets on to Cash App on his cell and sends herself $1,100.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't that take a little bit of time? Like, first of all, you got to go through the guy's apps and find it. Then you got to log in. Then you got to put in. I'd be like, what? It doesn't look like you're sending a text, sir. It looks like you're going through my phone. Am I wrong? Wouldn't you be like, what are you doing going through what's all the tapping?
Maybe you're distracted. You turn your back for a second.
Unless they go, all right, I'm going to go walk this way and text. I'll be right back.
She was able to do whatever she needed to do, determined that he had a Cash App. I mean, listen, this is from Channel 7 Miami. This is not some, made-up story.
I just don't see how it's possible that you let somebody have your phone for so long.
This is not some urban legend internet, warning. This is from Channel 7 Miami. An employee at a cell phone store in Northeast Miami-Dade was conned out of cash by a clever criminal who asked to use the victim's phone. The employee asked not to be identified or show his face on camera, said that his mistake was believing the woman who targeted him in the first place. I gave her my phone. She said she needed to make an emergency text that something was wrong with her phone. And could I use your phone to text my mom? And then she gets into the Cash App, sends herself $1,100.
What a rube.
So I was at, I'm trying to think if it was the Target. It was a parking lot in a shopping center off of Dale Mabry, North Dale Mabry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was within the last year. And I had one of my daughters with me. And as I was pulling out, I see these boys, they start, teen boys start running towards me and start knocking on my car window. And I roll down the window, and
that was mistake
they
number
had,
one.
right, I know. But they had, backpacks or whatever with them. And they're like, hey, we want you to, we're part of a recreational team, and we would like for you to donate. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I would love to, but I don't have any cash on me.
I would love to.
And then they one kid reached his hand, broke the plane of my window,
Whoa.
reached into my car to try to grab my phone out of my hand, and was like, I'll take your phone. I can do, we have an app. We can do it on that. And I was like, no. And I just said,
What?
you don't,
Wow.
you can't touch my phone.
Wow.
And you're making me uncomfortable. So
Yeah. Well,
move.
the other move is they grab your phone, they run off with it.
Yeah.
So maybe not just using an app to try to scam money out of you.
Mhm.
Steal the whole phone,
Yeah,
right?
just that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
What was that? There was a press release from St. Pete Police in the last month. They had some story from St. Pete Police. It was a couple of weekends ago, or that there were like 12 cell phones stolen, and mostly in bars where you have some of these marauding pack of thieves. They're going into bars on like crowded Friday and Saturday nights, and they're looking for phones in a crowded restaurant or bar where people are standing up at a bar, and you got thieves that are rolling in. And if somebody has a phone that's just down on the bar or on a table, or people that have a cell phone tucked in their rear pocket. I remember recently St. Pete Police did a little press conference, or they put out some kind of press release. I think it was like 12 phones were stolen on a recent weekend in mostly downtown St. Pete in the bar scene.
I've seen, it seems I see more cell phones just sitting on tables.
Yeah.
As I'm out at restaurants.
In New York, that's a big issue.
Yeah.
And in New York, you got to be careful because you have a lot of these restaurants with the outside tables on the sidewalk, and people are warned. Folks, let me give you a little heads up tourist warning. And this goes for anywhere. This goes,
Anywhere, yeah.
This could be Beach Drive, with the outdoor dining right in St. Pete or, Water Street or wherever. If people that are but the big problem over the years in New York, people are just outside on the sidewalk at a table outside of a restaurant, cell phone on the table, and you got these crooks that roll by on a bicycle and they grab your phone and boom, they're gone. They're out. Anyway, so the Miss New York, there's a little follow-up to this as well, that the former beauty queen that lost the $2,000 to the two con kids, she helped identify the suspects. So the two teenage con men who scammed her out of $2,000 by getting on her phone and then sending themselves $2,000 on Zelle, the kids have been identified, and according to the NYPD's 13th precinct, these guys are known serial offenders. They've been doing this a lot. And they're not even from the South Bronx. Apparently, they're from New Jersey. And they come into Manhattan taking the PATH train or buses to the Port Authority, and they're just roaming Manhattan. And, if they took her for $2,000, how much money are they making on a day scamming people by, fraudulently taking money out of their cash apps?
That's a pretty good haul, $2,000 a day.
That's unbelievable. Anyway, so heads up, I wanted to just cover that again, and then the follow-up that they've identified the scam kids and they're serial offenders, apparently.